Hi everybody! Today we're going to talk about being shy and having an online business. So, admittedly, this is not something that people usually associate with me, and I don't associate with me. I am not a shy person, I'm not an introvert, I'm an extrovert. But guess what? I have clients who are, and it's something I've always wanted to kind of talk about a little bit to see if there's anything that I can do to help those clients and to help you guys out there who are thinking, but I'm shy. I'm not like Ina going live every 5 minutes and using her hands to talk and talking the way that I talk, right? And having like a big personality that like fills all the space it takes up, right? Not everybody's the same, but that doesn't mean that the online space is only for people who have a big, bubbly personality. There's room for everyone. So I had a few things that I wanted to tell you about this because I think it's really important that everyone knows that having an online business has nothing to do with being an extrovert. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of people who are introverts that I have worked with that I know are kicking butt and taking names in the online space, who are the kind of people who feel like they need to recharge their batteries at the end of the day. That when they travel, they make sure to spend the whole day just by themselves because they're about to speak at a conference. That they're not 100% comfortable on video, so they've taken classes and they've done exercises to make it a little bit better on themselves because it's not something that they just do naturally. So I wanted to point out a couple of people who do this and do this really, really well while being an introvert and while being shy. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit of what my teaching around this is that I really hope helps you. Okay? So, first of all, the two people I wanted to point out. Selena Sue, she's a star publicist. She teaches a group called Impacting Millions, which I am a member of, and she tells you all the time, you guys, I just spoke at a conference and it was killing me on the inside, right? Because this is just not something that comes out naturally for her, but she goes and does it anyway. Then the other one is someone that I've interviewed here in the group multiple times. Her name is Tiffany Newman, Neuman. No double letters, no W, Neuman. Tiffany Newman is another one who is shy, she's reserved, her colors are not red like mine, and she's made a beautiful business doing exactly what she loves, and she has a great business doing something that she is the expert on, which is branding. So, and she gets on video quite a bit. So I'm going to tell you something that Tiffany did to get over this fear of going on Facebook Live, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But first, I want to tell you my impressions of what it is like to be in the marketing space online and whether I believe that my personality or being bubbly is a necessity. So let's start with just nipping that one in the bud, which is no, you don't need it. I'm going to tell you what you do need. You need to be comfortable being yourself. So I don't want to confuse, and I don't want you to confuse this either. I don't want to confuse being shy and being an introvert with being insecure. I want you guys to understand the difference between those two, because everybody has insecurities, even extroverted people. And extroverted people may still have issues going on live video and putting themselves out there, right? They may be, great in public and talking to you in person, and they fill the room when they come in and, all that stuff, and still hate video. So being an extrovert has nothing to do with being great on camera, being good online. We all have insecurities. So I don't want you to confuse these two, okay? That's like point number one, lesson number one. Everyone has insecurities, but not everybody is shy and not everybody's an introvert. So if you believe that the fact that you're an introvert equals being insecure, and therefore, since this is a character trait, you cannot have an online business, we're killing that one right now, okay? If you are shy and an introvert, your insecurities are normal, and everybody has them, and you can still have an amazing business even if you have insecurities. So Once you work on the insecurities, I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about that too. Once you work on the insecurities, being an introvert and being shy, you're gonna realize that, oh, wait, that has nothing to do with my putting myself out there. It has more to do about the being comfortable in your own skin. I'm gonna try to illustrate this a little bit. Selena and Tiffany, they are great people. I have worked with both of them, love them both. And it doesn't, like me as a client, it doesn't bother me or push me away or make me think something bad about them, the fact that they're introverts, right? I love them for who they are. I love them for putting themselves out there, even though they are shy and they're introverted. The thing that makes them stand out versus other introverts and shy people is the fact that they've realized that they can take care of their insecurities the way that most people do, the way that extroverted people do too, which is working on them, right? So just by that, I want to show you how powerful it is to be yourself when you're online. If you're shy and introverted, you don't want to try to mimic me, okay? You don't want to go and study exactly what I say and how I say it. You may want to go and study Selena and Tiffany. Look at their videos. How are they putting themselves out there? What are they saying? What is the big difference between Ina and Tiffany, right? Is it the way we talk? The fact that I'm going like this and Tiffany would never do something like this, right? And if you guys are listening to a podcast, I'm looking at the camera because I'm recording this live. I'm like a bugging eye to the camera and putting my hands everywhere, right? Like, that's just my personality, right? Tiffany would never do that. Tiffany's going to talk to you about the business. She's going to tell you a little bit about her story. She's going to tell you about her kids. She's going to tell you about everything that's going on. But you love her for who she is. So what all of the shy people who are online have figured out is that their insecurity has nothing to do with a character trait. Okay, so how did they get over this? And this is something that I've said so many times that I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but by having a bigger vision of themselves and a bigger vision of their life. Because when you have that vision, when you're looking at your life and realizing, you know what, I want to do better, I want to be a better example to my kids, I don't want to reach retirement age and realize that all I did was work for a particular company, right? I don't want to do that. I want to retire knowing that I did everything in my power to live the life that I really wanted, right? So that's something that both Selena and Tiffany figured out. They were both in corporate, they were both in great positions, and they just said, I want to do better. And being shy and being an introvert is not gonna get in my way. I need to deal with my insecurities just like everybody else. So one thing that actually saw Tiffany go through, this was like last year, almost 2 years ago. Or actually it was, about a year ago. She joined this group where it was all about how to put yourself on video, how to do Facebook Lives. And they challenged them, they challenged the attendees to go live on their Facebook personal page every day for 30 days. I want you to let that sink in for a second because I don't even do that, right? To go live on your personal Facebook page every day. Now, the class, the challenge was you're going out there and you're gonna tell your story every day. And the idea is that after you tell the same story over and over for 30 days, number one, you're gonna catch some people that are going to be interested in you and in your business, and they're gonna start following you, and they're going to potentially become clients. That's one thing. Another thing is that you can observe how your story evolves and how it changes over time. Because I can come here and tell you my story right now, but it will sound completely different tomorrow. And I know which points to hit. I mean, I've done my branding work, I've done my story work. I know what are the pieces of my story that are important. But if you've never gone out and told your story, chances are that once you do it 30 times in a row, it's going to sound different. And you're going to start to sharpen it, and you're going to start to get feedback about particular pieces of your story that you're like, okay, maybe I should drill into that one. Maybe I should take this part out. Maybe nobody cared about hearing about how I had a dog growing up, because that has nothing to do with what my message is, right? So that was the challenge. So she did it, but instead of doing her story every day for 30 days, what she did was kind of create like a chain reaction. She started just by telling her story once over 30 days, right? So she would start with the beginning of her story, and then the next and the next and the next and the next. So it's just one story over 30 days, which kind of kept me hooked, actually. I watched every single one of her Facebook Lives. And you know what I was looking for? I was looking to see how someone who is shy, someone who is an introvert, does this. And I'm gonna tell you, the first few lives, she would tell you herself, I am nervous as heck right now, but I'm gonna do this. This is a challenge, and this is why I'm doing this. And by the end, those insecurities started to fade away a little bit. She had done it 30 times already, so she didn't feel the need to explain to the audience why they're seeing her. Because I feel like that's one big piece of our insecurity, is that what if people think I'm crazy, or that I'm trying to sell them something, or that I'm what am I trying to do here? This is not normal. This is not something everybody does. So there's all these things like, what are people gonna think? What are they gonna say? They're gonna start talking about me. They're gonna send me a message telling me to cut it out. Like, these are all the feelings we have. So bravo to Tiffany for taking that challenge, doing it anyway, explaining herself a lot in the beginning, but then by the end, it's like, I'm gonna tell you my story, right? She totally just got over it. And now she does lives in her group all the time. This is something she does. It's part of her business. And it didn't have to, like, those insecurities didn't have to define her. She is still shy and introverted. But she is not this insecure being who can't get out of her own way. So if you are shy, if you are an introvert, make that distinction and make it early. What is an insecurity and what is your personality? And take stock of what are the things that you need to feel like you're in integrity with yourself, right? I imagine that, because I have heard, again, I'm not an introvert myself, but I have heard, I'm aware, that introverts like to recharge their batteries by themselves. My husband is an introvert, right? So I know to give him time for himself. This is something I live with every day. While he knows that to recharge my batteries, I want to be with him. So we give each other space and we give each other company. It's something we've learned to figure out how to do. So if you know that for your personality trait, you need some time alone, give it to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Understand what are the things that you need to do, right? For you. And don't let that get in the way of starting your business. If you're here thinking, well, once I start my business, I'm gonna have to go live every day like Ina does. I'm gonna have to talk about personal things that I don't wanna talk about, right? You can always figure it out. You can always figure out a way to talk about personal stuff without really saying the names of your kids or without showing pictures of your kids. Being out in the open online is about serving your audience, all right? But you can't do that if you feel like you're doing something that you're not comfortable with. So the moment you start doing something that you're not cool with is the moment to ask yourself, am I not cool with it because I'm insecure about it and I want to get over it? Or am I not cool with it because I feel like this is the wrong thing to do and I should stop immediately? That is such an important distinction, guys. When you feel like you don't want to do something, is it because you feel like you're insecure and you have fear around it and you want to get over it and you wish the kind of person who would get over it so you can do this all the time, like going live on video? Or is it because it feels wrong and you should not do it? Listen to your gut, but know the difference between the two. So for all of my shy people out there, yes, there is still hope for you. right? If you're following me, you may be wondering how you can make this work. Don't just mimic me. I'm an extrovert person. I talk in a particular way. I do things in my way. Do things your way. Follow people who are introverts. How are they doing it? I just gave you 2 really important names of people you should be following. Okay? So don't let it stop you. You can still have a business online where you go live as frequently as you want, where you have a podcast where you can talk to people from the heart about the things that you want to talk about, where you can be yourself and people will love you for it, and make money doing something that you love. That's not restricted to people who are overly in your face like I am. Okay? So go follow those 2 ladies because I know you won't be disappointed. And don't give up on your dreams. Figure out if what you're thinking about is an insecurity or part of your character traits. Okay? And ask yourself whether you want to overcome it or absolutely not. Have some boundaries for yourself and for your decisions, okay? But I believe that you can do this. I work with introverted people. I work with introverted people all the time, okay? And I do spend time letting them know that these are not things that should stop them. These are things that can propel them to go forward. So if you guys have a main takeaway out of this live, out of this video, out of this podcast, be kind to me and let me know. I like to know that there are people listening and that I'm actually saying something that resonated with you. So you can leave me a comment in this live video right here, your biggest takeaway. If you're listening on the podcast, you can go to the Apple Podcast, you can review this podcast, leave a comment in there, or better yet, come over to the Facebook group. If you're usually on Facebook, that's where I do all my stuff. That's where I record these sessions live. Go to inacoveney.com/Facebook. It's going to take you straight into the group, but you have to spell Coveney right. It ends in EY. Don't you forget that. So, all right, that's basically what I had for you today. The rest of my day is super busy. I am teaching tonight. I need to go downstairs and make myself some lunch because I have another session starting in 45 minutes. Thursdays are my busy days, and that's how I like them, and I'm not complaining about it because it allows me to spend time with my son other days of the week. But this is what Thursdays look like. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. You guys, you know how I usually say, I can't seem to talk for less than 18 minutes? I just recorded this podcast. It was 17 minutes and 51 seconds. I don't know why, but 18 minutes is like my sweet spot. I can just come on and talk about anything. 18 minutes later, I'm like, okay, I'm out. I'm done. So thank you guys so much for listening. James, I think you were here the whole time. Let me know what you think. I would love to know what you got out of this, if anything at all. It was a pleasure to see you and to speak to you. And if anybody else is here, if you're watching the replay, let me know. You don't necessarily have to do like hashtag replay or anything. Just tell me, hey, I'm here, say hi. And I should have probably said this in the beginning, so you can let me know in the beginning. But if you've listened this far, say hi anyway. I want to know if this is getting to you guys. Okay, I'm gonna go. Lunch, sessions continue. We keep moving. And this will get released to the podcast today. All right, guys. Bye, everybody. Yay, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to click subscribe right here. And if you're a podcast listener, go and search for Trailblazing Out of Corporate Life, and you'll get me through your ears. All right, guys. Have a great one, and don't forget, right here, subscribe.